Hey guys, thanks for joining me again today. Doing this in the truck stop, so sorry if it's a little bit noisy. Several people have asked about this Amsoil bypass system that I have here, and they'd like me to show the installation of it, how you can install one, how you set it up. So I'm going to do that today. And before we get started, just a reminder to check out that Mud Flap app. They just added 22 new fuel stops this week up in the Northeast, Pennsylvania, New York areas, a lot more in Kansas. So it's really growing and expanding. Hopefully it'll be in an area near you. So make sure and download the app, Mud Flap, and use the promo code DIY Semi. If you're going to sign up, you'll get $10 credit after your first fuel purchase. I'm going to show you this installation and kind of with a little bit of hindsight of things I may have done differently after the fact. So that may be of benefit to you. Let's take a look at the filter head here first. So this is a really simple system. The reason I went with Amsoil, or this one, is I wanted two things. I wanted a spin-on filter, so it was cleaner to change, service, and I wanted the best, lower cost of operation, which this is pretty easy. There's not much to it. There's no power, there's no any moving parts, and it's relatively easy to take care of. So all that there is to the filter head is this piece right here. It's got 3 holes in it, and I just drilled the frame and mounted it here. This third hole here, I ran into clearance issue on the back side, so I just left it empty. It's my fault. It's plenty strong with just these 2 bolts. Use grade 8 bolts. It's not going anywhere. In fact, if you only wanted to drill 2 holes, I would bet that that's just fine. There's not much weight to this. Now hindsight, if I had to do over again, I would fabricate some kind of a bracket so I didn't have to drill the frame, just to make it easier if I ever wanted to move it or take it off and do something else with it. I'm not leaving holes in the frame. I hate holes in my frame. Now this is far enough forward where it's not weight supporting, but I would do that. And also, I wouldn't put it right behind the bumper here in case I ever hit a deer. I have hit a deer. It didn't hit anything, didn't hurt anything, but you never know. So there's that. And I probably would have put it back behind the cab on the frame rail. You can put it anywhere, you just need longer hose. So wherever you got room and clearance. Basically on these systems, any bypass system, you're gonna have a line in and a line out. Here they're even labeled in and out. First we'll talk about the line out since we're right here. All these fittings, well, most of the fittings here and all the hose came right from Amsoil. I ordered the sample valve. So the sample valve goes on the outside before the hose. Then when you need to sample, you unscrew this, push the button down. When you let go, the flow stops. And then on mine, went down into the oil pan with the return hose. Now you order the hose, you just order how many feet you need. You gotta put the fittings on the end yourself. It's real easy, just follow the instructions. If you don't want to do that, then maybe you want to have somebody at the shop do this. Or at least they could put together the hose for you, drill the frame. Drilling this frame is no easy task. It's going to take a pretty good drill to get it done. I had somebody drill it for me because I don't have a powerful drill. I just got a little handheld cordless, so not a big deal. Okay, now with the return line, we went under and right to the oil pan here. There, right there. There's a plug in the oil pan on these Detroits. There's another plug down there, but that's low to the ground. There's one up a little higher on the oil pan. I just went in that. And that way I won't be susceptible to as much road debris. And one of those fittings there is a hand valve. It's just a hand valve from a plumbing supply store. And I plumbed that in there so I could shut it off. I also put one in the supply line, a shut off. Now the fittings that go into the oil pan, I just matched up at the hardware store. I'm going to show you the plug that I took out of the oil pan. I always keep these plugs. I keep them in the truck with me in case I ever have a problem on the road and I need to disconnect those lines and plug off the hole. Here's the plug out of the oil pan. It's a 1/2 inch drive. and I don't, it's 4 years since I put this on. I'm thinking that's probably a 1-inch or so plug. If you just take it to the store with you, you can match it up. So that's pretty much it for the return line. Now let's talk about the supply side. Well, first, here's the plug I plumbed mine in the back of my oil cooler. Here's the plug. Guessing that's like a 1/2-inch plug. Not sure, once again, take it with you. There's different places you can tap into for this. There's also different places you can put the return. I had a C15 cat that had an auxiliary dipstick hole on the passenger side of the engine. My dipstick was on the driver's side. So I just returned it into that auxiliary dipstick hole, and it was just fine. You can go different places. They don't recommend you go put it back into the head though, so don't do that. And also don't draw anything from anywhere that supplies oil to the head. Now, as far as tapping in for your supply line on the cat, I found several little plugs in the block in the oil galley. I just tapped into one of those. This one I decided to go with the oil cooler because it was just the easiest access. Things are pretty tight on this motor. So I'll show you. Can't see it real well, but I'm going to show here. I'm not going to get on the ground and crawl around because you know what happens on the ground in truck stops. You can see like a green line going up and down there. Right here. Okay, that's the valve where I tapped into the back of the oil cooler. There's a 90-degree fitting on the back of the oil cooler. It comes down into a hand valve there, and then I put the hose to that. So pretty easy installation, just in and out. I would recommend, if you're not sure where your extra oil passages are or plugs, get in touch with your dealer. Just say, hey, I need to tap into an oil galley plug. Where can I find one? They should be able to tell you, and then you'll know you're doing it right. Or if you want to have a mechanic do it for you, no harm. Just some people wanted to see how to go ahead and do this, so I want to make sure and show you. So we will see you next time.